Welcome to the HindmanCast, a podcast of the Hindman Settlement School, where we explore the history, culture, and people that make the Hindman Settlement School what it is today, and how this historic institution will continue to serve its mission of celebrating heritage and changing lives in Central Appalachia. I'm Corey Terry.
And I'm Jordan Collins.
And welcome to episode number 3 of the HindmanCast, and we are masked up today. And I didn't realize how hard that was going to be until I read all that at one time and couldn't hardly breathe.
Oh, yeah. It's probably gasping over there, but
yeah.
we good.
We good.
Make it.
We good.
But today we have Kelsey Cloonan. We've been debating this for a while now.
Oh yeah, it's definitely Cloonan.
Cloonan.
No, it is not. It's Cloonan.
Cloonan. Okay,
Cloonan.
that's the obvious, I
Cloonan.
think. But.
Now I'm still clueless, so that's great. And then we also have Grace Driscoll.
Grace Driskill.
Yep.
Always
Dr. Ski.
not to be confused with Driscoll.
Grace, your
Driscoll.
name is very metal.
It is very metal.
Killing the name.
I love it. But we are here today to talk to two of our ReadingCorps tutors who just started with us back in August, I think.
Yeah, what was it?
August 17th.
Yep, there we go.
Started.
The exact date. I have it written down, but can't remember it. So great.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Dyslexia Program and the ReadingCorps expansion. We got to talk to Ola Pigman last week, the director of the Dyslexia Program, who filled us in on what dyslexia is and sort of a broad picture of dyslexia in the program here.
Yeah.
But now we're getting on the front lines with two of our tutors and see how things are with this new program. So, So the first thing we usually talk about with our guests is just to sort of get a background of your life.
I like to call it the origin story.
The origin story. And we've
Yeah.
never had two guests, so now I'm just kind of like, how do I deal with this? There's two people I got to talk to here. So Kelsey, would you like to go first and talk to us a little bit about your
Sure.
background?
Yeah. So, my family on my mom's side is originally from here, from Letcher County, and most of my family lives over in Jessamine County right now. But I never got the opportunity to actually live in the hills. And, you know, my dad was in the Army, and we moved around a ton. I think I moved around 8 different times before I was 10, and all through different states and stuff. So my life was a little bit all over the place. So my origin story is pretty scattered about the U.S. But, you know, my papa, Kentucky was always the home that we would go back to. And my papa, he always wanted to go back to the hills, and because my granny and papa settled out in Jessamine County, and they never made it back to like live where they were from in Letcher County. But it was always just this sort of, you know, like magical place that I got to hear about in the stories and where our family comes from. And it was only really recently that I started realizing and embracing the fact that, you know, I am Appalachian. Even though I didn't have that opportunity to grow up here and to live this reality my entire life, I do strongly identify with it, and just feel so lucky to have been able to find this position at Hindman Settlement School and to actually be here in these hills and only 40 minutes away from where from our home place.
Right.
And but yeah, so that's my like geographical origin story. I studied anthropology and music in college, and was living in Philly for a while. A lot of awesome living over there, and then
Going to metal concerts and stuff of that sort.
yeah, all sorts of lots of good Philly punk, lots of good local music. Made incredible friends, and then I started working in education, leading high school students abroad, and did a lot of different programs in Brazil, Costa Rica, Spain, South Africa, and ended up, it actually took me to a position in a school over in Granada in southern Spain. So I was there for the past 3 years and recently came back. Well, feels like recently, but, you know, COVID warps time. So came back last year and then was like, if I'm going to be back in the States, then I want to be in the hills of eastern Kentucky, and found my way here.
So, did you pick up any languages in Spain, or?
Claro que puedo hablar perfectamente bien.
Yes, would have been
Yes.
fine too.
So yes, the answer is yes.
No,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak anything but English.
Jordan couldn't pronounce Guadalajara last time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if you could pronounce that city where she was at. What was the city again?
Granada.
I can't
No.
even
You can do
say
it.
that.
Granada.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
It was Granada.
You just say it
Granada.
with a good accent.
Thank
instead
you.
of-
I worked really hard to get fluent and to have that accent, so I
Wow,
appreciate
that's
that.
awesome.
Yes, thank you.
That's really interesting. I wish I could speak something besides English. I like to consider myself speaking Appalachian and code switching there, but
Mm.
it's English. It's English.
English. All right, Grace. How about your origin story?
Well, it's a lot less diverse. I grew up here in Kentucky, about an hour away from Hindman in Breathitt County. For pretty much my whole life, we lived 3 or 4 years, I guess, in South Carolina, which is where my dad was from, and my mom was from Florida. So they met in seminary in Louisville, which is how we ended
At the
up
Southern
in
Baptist
Kentucky.
Theological Seminary.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I went to school at.
Whoa. So
Corey.
that's where they met, even though neither of them were from here. So we are the only ones from our family here in Kentucky. All of Dad's side of the family calls us the Kentucky Driscolls because they all live in South Carolina.
Mm.
And so I was homeschooled all the way through, like kindergarten through senior year. Went to college at Alice Lloyd, studied English, and then minored in sociology and communications. Graduated technically this past May. My semester ended on campus in March because of COVID, and then just did all my assignments from home and got my diploma in the mail this summer. So it was a little anticlimactic way to end the
Yeah.
4 years, but
I remember Jordan getting his in the mail.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I graduated over Zoom. It was a big time.
we didn't even do that. We just got the diploma, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Guess you graduated."
They just they gave us a background to download, and then we graduated like that.
man.
It was real cute. It was
That's
great.
cute.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that depressing, but it's great.
Yeah, it was super fun.
No, it's a big time.
And then from there, I was planning. So every summer since 2003, my family has been at a local nonprofit camp called Bethel Mennonite Camp in Breathitt County. And I was planning to spend my last summer. I volunteered there for all of, I guess it's 8 weeks each summer since I was 16. So this was going to be my last summer, but then we didn't have camp. So I was just kind of home. And then I saw the ReadingCorps position open up, and I had looked into AmeriCorps positions some in college. And so the fact that it was relatively close because I wanted to stay in Eastern Kentucky. And then the fact that it was a reading program but not as a teacher because I didn't really want to be a classroom teacher, but the concept of one-on-one tutoring really appealed to me. And I liked the idea of a year of service while I kind of figure out what I might want to go into more long-term. And the fact that I was somewhat familiar with the settlement school in the region also appealed a lot. So
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Well, we're happy to have both of you. I learned earlier that I actually know Grace's brother and sister, Jackson and Katie, back from our student ministry days. So that was a good connection there. Shout out to you guys, and hope things are going well. So both of you live on campus. How do you enjoy that?
It's very nice.
I love it. I love that house.
Yeah, we have a nice 3-level house, the pole house.
It's a
You
great
got 3
house.
levels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Oh,
downstairs.
yeah, there's that little loft upstairs,
So
isn't
I'm
there?
downstairs, and it's just like a room with its own bathroom. And the
Mhm.
upstairs has like a nice open living room, little kitchen, all
Yeah.
that good stuff. and then-
Overlooking Highway 160.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Hanging
It's
off the
wonderful.
mountainside.
Hearing the sirens in the middle of the night. It's
Yeah.
Oh,
great.
yeah, but that's kind of loud,
Oh.
isn't it?
You think it's bad here? You should try Nicholasville in Lexington.
I
Oh,
would,
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
wanna
this
live
for
there.
me, oh my God,
Like, she's
compared
from-
to West
she lived
Philly,
in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
listen, well, in West Philly, it's like you hear sirens all the time.
Compared to
And-
living up a holler in Breathitt County, it's pretty
Oh.
loud.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember the first time after being here a couple days, and I heard my first siren, and I was like, I felt my body like tense up. I was like, oh my God, I've heard my
Yeah.
first siren here.
It's kind of sad. Like, there's only
it
one.
is.
There's only one road that they can go on. So no matter where they're going, they're coming by
Mhm.
here,
Yeah.
and you have to hear them every time. So it seems like there's a lot of traffic going with ambulances and stuff like that. But there's probably really not in comparison to most
Oh,
places.
yeah.
But
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a great little house. There's a
Oh,
odd
God.
little ramp that leads from the downstairs bathroom that's kind of like a handicap ramp, but there's a really steep hill
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
So
and
sometimes
you're kind of like hovering over there.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Mountainside.
it's like a ridiculously small porch or a very inconvenient handicap
Yeah.
ramp. So
Also-
sometimes I
yeah.
just sit there, but then it's like I have a view of 160, so it's
Also
occasionally
wouldn't,
nice.
Wouldn't
but
trust a wheelchair to roll down that. You know, that wood's pretty old.
yeah,
Nah.
it wiggles a little when I walk on it,
Yeah.
and I'm not large.
Just gotta-
But
The
outside
porch
of
on the
that,
back, that's pretty new, though,
Oh.
I
Yeah,
think.
that's a nice
the
porch.
patio, like
Yeah.
on the, it's amazing. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's nice.
Got Got bird feeders up. I love birds.
We've had in our yard groundhog, raccoon,
Oh, I saw a possum the other night.
possum. We had a snake in our house.
Oh.
Oh.
I saw a couple
Snake.
deer run through the parking lot last week.
Well, there's
Almost
coyote
ran
too.
into the James
Yeah.
Stoll
Oh, I heard the
building.
coyotes the other night.
Corey's just got the coyotes.
They come down to my house all the time and chase my chickens around.
What jerks?
Yeah. Well, I kind of want them to, but just please take them away.
So
But
I've seen more wildlife
take a
living in
chicken.
almost
You don't want these
downtown
chickens.
Hindman than I did living in Breathitt County up an actual holler. So it's been interesting.
they seem to like downtown Hyman
Yeah,
quite a
I
bit.
do.
I think the problem with a holler is that everyone kills everything,
Yeah.
and then it's just
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like we
We
know
have a
this.
ton of
They know
squirrels.
this is a safe space. So
Yeah.
you're not going to get shot here.
You can't shoot by the road. Well,
Yeah.
not legally anyway.
The snake thing was the most,
What kind of snake was it?
pretty sure it was a milk snake.
Oh.
I mean, it was cool, but I
wasn't there.
I
I
was-
pull up at the end of the weekend and Kelsey's like, "Hey, so there might be a snake in our house."
yeah.
So
So can I tell the story real fast?
yeah,
Of
have at
course.
it. Have at it.
So
we love it.
imagine it's in one of the most like vulnerable situations. I was sitting on the toilet.
Oh.
Okay, and this snake comes under the door into the bathroom.
At least
That's
you're sitting on the
horrifying.
toilet.
What is?
That doesn't give anything.
How
I
does
would
that-
crap my pants.
Well, I will
True.
say it was a little baby. It was pretty small. But I didn't know my snakes. This was early on.
Right.
And I didn't know my snakes yet. I hadn't seen a copperhead yet ever. And even though in the Carolinas, like we had them all over the place. But yeah. And it came in and I was like really startled. But and then it saw me and it coiled and it tensed up a little bit and I got really still. And then it went under the washer.
Oh.
And then I ran upstairs, being like, snakes can't go upstairs. This thing is really small. There's no
That's
way it's going to get
definitely
me.
not true.
I know.
Yeah.
I
I've
find
seen
out
them
later.
climb straight up
I
a
know.
wall before.
Stop, you guys. This is giving me the heebie-jeebies. Stop.
Jeez.
Yes, but it was fine. They came wonderful, awesome maintenance folks here came over and filled in all the holes.
Shout out to Moses and Nathan.
Yes.
Did they get the snake
huge.
out, or did it just get out?
We
I
don't.
haven't seen it, so I assume it
Listen,
left.
it
Oh.
came out the way it came in. It
Oh.
went out the way it came in.
They just trapped it
Probably.
inside with you. That's
You
all.
know what?
It probably
I
just
think we should move on to our next topic.
curls up with you in the bed at night.
Oh.
You thought that was the cat, but it
Oh.
was actually a snake.
Can't.
Hey, at least you got a cat. It'll take care of them snakes.
Oh,
Eventually.
yeah.
He
I
only
did.
has 2 modes, and it's sleep and attack.
Listen, Grace has only seen the 2 modes. He has multiple modes. He has it in betweens.
Oh, I love him. I would die for that cat.
I think a lot of people would die for that cat. Apparently, she's placed him on the Snapchat universe, and apparently, people love him.
Wow.
He's really adorable.
I've been thinking about doing that with my cats, but they don't do anything interesting. So.
My cat just stares at me all the time and meows like it wants me to feed it, but it's never satisfied. It's just like,
I could walk my
I
cat.
don't know
though.
what it wants, and it's like I try to pet on it sometimes, and it just runs away from me. so
Oh,
I
is
don't-
it inside or outdoor?
It's outdoor.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to cats. Remember?
Oh, right, that's right.
I would die if it was in my house.
Shoot.
Yeah, when I say I would die for the cat, it has dual meanings. 'Cause I'm
No,
allergic to cats.
listen, everyone. Grace and I talked about this a lot, and she would not die from the cat.
It's
So
true.
it's okay that I got a cat, even though my housemate is allergic to cats.
Yes.
Everything's okay.
I went into an animal shelter one time, and it was just a room of cats, and I was just like instantly, my eyes started watering, and I started getting snotty, and it was bad day.
Corey has real bad allergies, so when I vacuum in here sometimes, he can't come in
I
because
had to clean out that closet that I had left seeds in that mice got into. I literally about died that day. Like I was sick the rest of the night.
yeah, I came out
Dang.
here all happy with papers that I had just copied, and Corey's sitting on a log outside,
Having an
with
asthma attack.
eyes
Oh,
puffed up. I was gonna die.
Yeah, I had to go home and take my inhaler. It was bad.
brutal.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway.
Gonna move on.
So we kind of talked about what brought you to the settlement school. So I guess we will kind of just move into tutoring and what that looks like, how things are going there. So on a typical day, you're at RW Combs School?
Yeah,
or
I'm
you-
at
okay.
RW. Yeah.
And you're at Car Creek, right?
Mhm.
So how does your day, what does your day look like
Well,
as
our
a
days
tutor?
look very different.
Very different.
So at Car Creek, there are 2 other Reading Corps tutors with me, Joseph and Jasmine, and then our supervisor, Kevin, who works with the settlement school directly. And it has been a very slow process for us at Car Creek. The first couple weeks were basically we'd just get there at 8 in the morning and sit until like 3 trying to call parents, to contact them because we had to get consent for services. So we had to talk to teachers, see which kids they recommended. Then we had to go find all of the numbers, contact info, try to call the parents, hope they would answer the phone. And so that was about 2 weeks of just trying to contact people to even fill out consent forms. And then once we had finally gotten our schedule, there were about 7 kids for each of us. So we weren't completely full, but a relatively full schedule. And we had about 1 week that was pretty consistent. It was virtual tutoring. So we got them connected. We have a Google Classroom where we have our GoToMeeting link so they can go on, join our call like that, and we do 30-minute tutoring sessions. So we had about 1 week that was pretty consistent, and then they went back to in-person school because the numbers were low. They felt they could do it safely. And so that pretty much slowed everything to a standstill because we just only had about 1 student who was remaining virtual. And so since the teachers were all trying to figure out how they were going to do things, we had to wait for them to finalize their schedules before we could see when we could pull kids out for tutoring. So we didn't do basically anything that week. And the one student I had that was virtual just never signed on. So that was a very slow week and felt kind of frustrating after finally getting started and into a routine. Then after that, we had to go back virtual. And then since then, a lot of our kids have not been getting back on. And we've had some parents who just say that their kids are getting frustrated with online school. They don't want to add another thing where we're not mandatory like their other classes. And then since we have to use a different program than the Google Classroom that the teachers use, because the nature of our WISMO program, we have to give them mouse control, and it's just the tech requirements are different for us. And so a lot of parents and kids just don't want to deal with the extra stuff, which I don't blame them. I would hate to have to deal with all that stuff too. So that has slowed things down a lot, in that we have a few students who have been really good, and the kids we do have are progressing really well. Like just last week I was doing a review for a kid who's finished the whole first book in just the few sessions he has been able to have. So the kids who have been getting tutored have been doing really well with the program. It's just been quite a Herculean task getting them to actually get up with us and then sign on, and then you don't want to call constantly and harass the parents about it. But so it has been a slow process, but the progress we have made has been good. It's just been very inconsistent and few and far between in the scheme of students that we have. So we're working on restructuring our schedule and getting some new students from the kids who have either just not been getting on for a few weeks or whose parents have opted to not pursue virtual tutoring. So hopefully in the next few weeks we'll be able to connect with some other kids and get them started.
Yeah.
I mean, your frustration, I assure you, is definitely not one-sided. You know, we would prefer to, be tutoring as many kids as we can, reaching as many kids as we can, but that requires participation on both sides. So we're trying our best and moving with the punches, rolling with the punches, but you only do what you can. COVID changes things. So.
That it does.
Oh, yes.
So you're in Perry County.
I
and
am.
Perry County has went more in person, right? Like they they didn't start out in didn't they start out in person?
No, it was virtual.
Okay, but they started earlier than Knott County because they
You
County.
have done more in the schools than we have, as far as you started sooner and were able to go in
Okay,
person.
yes. Oh, right, yes. But we didn't start in person. We started like NTI, like virtually.
Yeah.
And then we did have, when those numbers, whenever that date was, that students came back.
It was late September.
Yeah.
I think was at least when we started.
I think oh my gosh, sense of time is so weird right now. But yeah, there was a week, I think about a week and a half, where we actually had in person, and I had. So my day looks very, very different. So at RW, I'm the only tutor, and it's a smaller school, and which is for me, like personally, that's really nice. I love having that like sense of like real like community, and it's smaller than Car Creek, right?
Car Creek has a total of 350 students. I think
so maybe they're about the
200 of
same.
some 250. I think we're planning to come back in person. It's a K through 8th.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. So mine's about the same, I believe. Yeah. And but I don't know. I was able to get up with parents, and and parents were. I don't know if it was just like if teachers had reached out to parents. It was kind of hard because there was at first a little like, people were unsure what the program was, and so it was cool though because I got to go around and talk to the teachers and talk about our program and how it could benefit their students. And then I've had a really great experiences talking with parents, and it's been really nice just to hear parents and be like, no, I just want, like, whatever it is, that sounds great. I just want to do whatever is best and what can help my child. And so right now I have a caseload of 8 students who I'm able to tutor every day. And when it was in person, I think I had about 3 who actually came to school, but the rest of them did stay online. And like Grace said, it was hard finding time to pull them out because, everything's so uncertain and teachers didn't know their schedules. So it was hard finding time to pull them out so that we could do our sessions. However, now that we're all virtual right now, I do have a full day. I think I have one more slot where I'm trying to find a student. But yeah, I have my full day. Sometimes students can't come to them because internet connection and internet accessibility has been a huge issue, as it is for all schools, I imagine, Eastern Kentucky and other rural areas in the States. But, we work with it and we just sort of go with the flow. And I think it's also important too, for some students, this sort of learning isn't the best for them, the virtual learning. And especially too, if they have the not best internet access and the schedule, it's not something that we can do routinely and like regularly every single day of the week. So also like keeping that in mind and just having that clear communication with the parents and being like, how can we make this the best for the student? So I'm really fortunate though now that it's virtual and being here, living on campus in our house where, I don't have a lot of distractions and things. I'm able to work from home and just tutor all day from home. And it's been going well.
Yeah, so that's another thing that's different is for us at Carr Creek, we are all in one classroom, just kind of spread out. And so when we tutor, like, that makes it a little hard if other people are also tutoring and listening. Mm-hmm. But it is nice because then we can all, discuss what's going on, if we have any problems or need advice for kids and stuff. I don't know if that will stay the same due to the governor recommending more people working from home. The Carr Creek principal is still waiting to hear how much that would apply to not county schools.
Yeah.
But overall it's good. And then just like Kelsey said with the internet, I have another student who's doing really well, but then their internet's been out for like 2 weeks now. So then the parents who do reach out and like text and say like, hey, this is going on are the best because then we know whether or not, because most of our day is honestly spent like on our call waiting to see if the kids are going to join or not. But then if parents actually reach out and say either, hey, they can't be on or is tutoring happening today, then so we do try to keep in contact with email or text or however it works best with each parent.
Yeah, a lot of the day is being in that communication with parents in particular. Yeah.
So there are some parents who have been really, really great to work with. And so that has been a blessing for sure. And then the kids have all the kids I've been able to tutor have been great to work with and have done well. But consistency is our biggest issue, at least at Carr Creek, is kids who can or are willing to get on or have people who can get them on. Because there's some kids who, like if both parents are working, they don't always have someone who can get them on. So a lot of it is dependent on parents' work schedules, whether they can be on for tutoring or not. So it's definitely been a tough row to hoe for a lot of people this year. But people, it's been... It's been really encouraging to see how teachers and parents and even students have, in a lot of cases, tried to adapt and tackle these new things. And then even the people I work with, where a lot of this online stuff is new to us, because, like, I just graduated college, but I didn't have to do any Zoom classes. Like, I hadn't used Zoom at all until my interview for this job. So it's been a learning curve for all of us as well. But I think we're trucking right along.
I mean, that seems to be a lot of this is, whereas in the past you could just pull a kid from a class and they were already at school. It requires a lot of work from the parent as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of extra with everything else.
Yeah.
Right, which is, it's not feasible for everybody. We get that, but we're trying the best we can.
Exactly. That's all you can do.
Doing what we can with what we got in this wonderful, wonderful year that we have.
I mean, luckily the grant has come in full steam. You know, we got laptops, so we're able to hit the ground running there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the funding's there. We're just trying to build out and how we can and roll with it.
For sure.
So you mentioned a lot of the struggles as a tutor, you know, like trying to get in contact with the parents and some good experiences with parents, but we want to know your most rewarding moment as a tutor.
Yeah, I actually just had this happen. I think yesterday. No, I can't remember. I think it was.
Yesterday was Monday, so that would make sense.
Okay, yeah. I actually think it was last night because I was emailing my parents and messaging them to let them know that we weren't actually going to do tutoring today and that we'd meet back up on Wednesday. And I had one parent in an email say, "Okay, thanks so much. You know, and I've noticed a huge difference in him, like just from the beginning." And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, that is so awesome to hear. Thank you. Like, and I was like, he makes my morning. You know, this student makes my morning. He's just awesome. And his parent was like, yeah, it makes his morning too. And I was like, oh, so it's just so nice to have these moments because, you know, and especially too, because this is education. I will be honest, like I've never participated in this sort of education where the program is very scripted. And that is an important aspect of it. It's important to follow, you know, Susan Barton's like pedagogy and like the steps and everything, and to be very precise about that. And I will be totally honest, and I am the complete opposite of that. And I thrive in areas where I can be very creative with my lesson planning and have it being very like student centered. So like for me, it feels weird to be the one, you know, like, okay, but that's an important part of this. Yeah. And I recognize that. But so it's hard in your sessions to see really any change or how it's affecting students, because I think, we do the assessment at the beginning and we do it in the middle and then we do it at the end. And I think there, we're going to see the actual progress. So it's just nice to hear from a parent that they can notice a difference. Yeah. And that is huge. It feels so good. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it right now.
Well, that's why we do it. We do it for the kids,
Exactly.
Sure.
For me, I haven't had any of those like big see the difference kind of moments, because where ours has been so scattered at Card Creek. But some of the better moments is I had one student who was having a really hard time seeming to understand what I was asking her to do. And then it's just one of my coworkers it was isolating the differences between two words. And so when you can't physically point at the different tiles, it's kind of hard to point out. And so my coworker was like, oh yeah, I just circle like which rows. And then like the second I did that, because I had been avoiding that in case that made it more complicated, seeing other things on the screen. But like as soon as I did that, she was doing it flawlessly, because it's just like understanding what I was actually asking of her. And then for me, as far as interaction with students after school has been really great.
Yes.
I have older kids for after school. So all of the kids I work with at Car Creek are mostly first and second grade. I think we have a few kindergartners that we've been trying to get, but for me personally, it's mostly first and second grade. Whereas for after school, the first two students I started with are both 12, so like middle school age. They've been in the Barton program. They're on the 5th level, so they've been doing it for 4 or 5 years now. And then I just got a new one who is on book 2, and so she's a little bit younger. But they have been fantastic to work with, and where that's for a longer period of time, we get them for a full hour rather than 30 minutes. It's nice to follow like the scripted instruction, which for me I love. I love having explicit rules to follow. But with that extra time, there's been a lot more opportunity to kind of talk with them and get to know them a little bit. And one of my after-school girls kind of broke my heart the other day. She's like, we're not like friends, but like we're kind of friends. Like we know about each other. She's like, after school, I probably won't talk to you again, and that's kind of sad. And it's like, oh. So
that broke my heart.
Yeah, I know, right? It made me sad too. So it's nice to be able to talk and connect with these students outside of just teaching them like reading skills. To be able to invest in them as people and get to know them a little bit has been really cool to see, especially where I come from a background where I work like at a camp connecting with kids a lot. And so it's been really nice to know that that is still possible in this new format as well, even though it's over Zoom or over GoToMeeting and has like a definite time limit and like an agenda. And we do that, but it's nice to be able to also have conversation thrown in there. And even with my coworkers at Car Creek, hearing them talk, which they have headsets, so I can only hear their half, but hearing them like chat with their little kiddos, ask them how they're doing, talk about Halloween costumes, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely nice to be able to get to know the kids as well as a caseload of students.
That's
Yeah.
what I
That's
found
awesome.
most rewarding, you know.
Yeah.
Over the summer, you know, I would work here, and then, you know, this was before COVID, you know, we'd have like a summer camp here, and they were on campus at all times. So you just really get into their lives, and then it's just like they're so much more than just, you know, dyslexia. They're normal kids who have different ways of thinking about things, and that different way of thinking about things is what I love the most, because they see things that everyone misses, and I love that.
Absolutely. Same.
I used to teach a program here in my early days at the settlement school called the Scholars Program, and I still run into kids from that as at the high school and see them out all the time, and they somehow still remember me. I mean, I know I can't be that memorable, but we had a pretty good time in those short classes that I had with them. So, but I always enjoy running into them now on. So I think maybe someday you'll run into those kids and they'll be like,
Oh,
"Hey,
yeah.
there's my tutor."
That's the best. And I think
Yeah.
that's something really awesome about being an educator is, you know, you don't know the impact. Like, it could be something as little as like your response to one of their questions, you know, or like just like your essence and like being in the classroom. Like, you don't know the impact that you're really having on your students, and it could be planting seeds that could just like grow into something, you know, decades later. Like, I think that's one of my favorite things about education. You are this source of, you are the source, right? And you have control over like if that's going to be, how good and positive that's going to be for your students. And it could be now that it, you know, affects their lives now, or it could be, you know, sometime in the future. But you just never know. And yeah, I think we are memorable in many ways that we don't even know.
Yeah, for sure.
Or not. I don't.
I mean,
Fingers
I
crossed.
remember
Fingers crossed. I will also remember you, Grace.
Oh, thank you.
That's the most important, is building those relationships. No.
So yeah, that's a good topic to talk about. Is how do things go down after hours in the pole house?
Well,
Oh,
I'm
the pool
super
house.
exciting, so I usually come home and I go downstairs to my room,
Oh,
and then after a while I go to
Grace?
sleep.
Oh.
I will have to say that I've never lived with anyone who is so different from me, but like we have this awesome cohabitation, and I feel so like Grace is just this beautiful, kind, like respectful, awesome human. And like, we watched a movie together we watched Hocus Pocus the other
Yeah,
night.
it's the first time we'd both been here for the whole weekend at the same
Yes.
time.
It was
like last weekend.
And so we got to watch a movie together, and that made me feel really,
Good.
really
we need to
nice.
have more movie nights.
We do need to have more movie nights. And she even Santi sat right by her, and she didn't have any allergic reactions.
Yeah.
So,
Willpower.
I'm usually
Power of
okay as long as I
friendship.
don't touch it and then
Yeah.
touch my face.
Yeah.
That's when things get bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
maybe
feel
Yeah.
like Santi knows that because he won't let me pet him most of the time,
Yeah.
which is probably good because I have very little self-control around cats. But
Full
yeah,
House is it's pretty chill, I have to say. You know, because pandemic, can't really have guests over. So,
it's true.
yeah, we are both, and that's another thing too, is like I was very worried about making a move during pandemic, and then, you know, getting shoved in a house with someone who didn't take it seriously. And I just feel so lucky to like have someone like Grace who's very, you know, like responsible and honest and just, you know, takes things seriously. And very considerate. It's very lovely. But also, it's just, you know, it's a hard time to move to a new place and to make friends and find your community. You can't really do that right now. So I just feel very lucky to be with such a awesome human.
Yeah,
our
same. I
house.
was kind of nervous about it because I had come to, I guess, tour the house like on a Tuesday, I guess. And at the time, I was going to be the only one there. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm a homebody and an introvert. I can handle living alone. And then about 3 or 4 days later, like right before I was planning to move in, I get an email from Josh saying, roommates at Hindman. Like, I'm going to virtually introduce you to. And it's like, okay, so I have a roommate now. Cool. And so, yeah, I guess Kelsey and I chatted a bit then. And in college, I was super lucky. I lived in a suite, so it was a 3 to 5 person room, depending. And so throughout my 4 years of college, I had 7 roommates because most of them were older than me and like graduated before me.
Yeah.
But every single one of them was fantastic. So I somehow got lucky like all 7 times in college with great roommates. And I was like, can I keep the streak alive? And luckily I did. Kelsey's fantastic as a roommate. She's very considerate as well, even though we are very different. I never feel like at all infringed upon or like
Yeah, it's really
we somehow
cool.
don't get in each other's way like ever.
I know. It's so wild. You would think that the cohabitation would be difficult because we are so different, but I think that baseline of like respecting each other and like making sure that that living together, like our living space is the best for each of us, you know? I don't know. It really rules.
Yeah.
It's been
You
good.
guys really are mastering this yin and yang thing right here.
For real.
Yeah, my roommate's not mine. So we lived in a 4-person suite and we shared a bathroom. So it was me and my roommate on one side, and then our other roommate on the other side. And he was a junior, and I won't say his name because I hated him.
Oh.
But we had a nice little war there, so it was fun.
Yeah, I've had some rough roommates over the years.
I only had one, and that's because I got married after my first semester of college. And I liked the guy. I went to school with him my whole life. But he watched TV really late into the night. And
It's hard.
You would hate me, Corey.
I'm going to need that TV to go off. I need to sleep.
I would also like to give an awesome, huge shout out to Randy, who is such a lovely neighbor.
He's so nice.
Oh, he's so nice, and it makes my day whenever he walks by and we get to chat. And he also let us borrow his chimenea, and so now we have this great little.
What is that?
It's the weird clay fireplace tower thing.
It is a chimney.
Chimenea.
Yeah,
That was a
even
very
Lowe's
descriptive
calls it a
visual.
chimenea on their website.
If you Google chimenea, that's what shows up. 'cause
Exactly.
That's what I had to do when Kelsey said that we were getting one. 'Cause I had no idea what she was talking about.
See, I would have to do the same thing because I'm not fancy. So
So I wanted to get a fire pit because it's a great patio, but I didn't want to burn the house down.
Right.
So my friend's like, "Oh, you got to get a chimenea." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never really looked into these things." And I was looking at them, and they're pretty pricey. Like to get a real one, like a clay one, is really pricey. And then I was walking away from my car, and I turned to Mr. Still's house, his old house there, and noticed on the porch there was a chimenea sitting right there. So I asked Randy about it. First thing he said was, "You want to borrow it?"
He
Sounds-
carried it and put it on our porch for us.
Yes.
yeah.
It's
He's
like I was
just-
downstairs and I thought I heard noises, and it's like, oh, I guess it's Kelsey. And I come upstairs and it's like, huh, this wasn't here before.
He's just so kind and thoughtful, and just wanted to give a shout out to him.
I'll tell you my Randy neighbor story. He wasn't my neighbor per se. I mean, I lived over here in the apartments. He lived over there.
Yeah, Corey lived where I currently
Yeah.
live.
But I walked out of my apartment one day, and there was an arrow sticking in my porch. And I was like, oh, my gosh, there's somebody hunting around here, and they're going to come out and shoot
They're
me.
hunting
And I'm
me.
gonna walk out of here.
The most dangerous game.
So that's a good story. So I took the arrow to work, and was like, what is this? Somebody's like telling Linda, there's people up there hunting apparently. And then Randy walks in one day, and he's like, oh, there's my arrow. And he had been up there with a wooden bow or something and shooting something and missed apparently, and it come down and hit
Dang,
my porch. So
Randy.
He's got
yeah.
all these secret skills we didn't know.
He
about.
has some secrets, though.
That's my goal, is to one day be like Randy and have all these random hobbies that you just
my
acquire.
God.
He knows a lot about mushrooms. I went
Yeah.
on a nature hike with him a few weeks
Oh,
ago.
you
I was
got
the
to
only
do
one who
that?
went, so it was just me and Randy hiking. He was pointing out random mushrooms.
That
telling
is
me
Yeah.
about 'em.
awesome.
He was
I wish I
reading a
could've
book about
gone.
mushrooms
we used to
before
have
we started.
herb
Of
walks here all
course.
the time, and he would lead
Really?
those. But
Oh, I hope he can do more.
Yeah, I wanted to go on that, but I was too busy trying to hire tutors.
I was going to say you had a meeting like right after, I think.
immediately. It's like if it would have been under an hour, I could have made it, but no dice.
Randy is going to teach me how to finally play my papa's banjo that I've had for
Mm.
years and that I've never gotten into the groove of learning. But yeah.
I just got a mandolin, and Sarah Kate said she was going to teach me with Morse code from her apartment with a flashlight.
Yeah.
Teach me how to play mandolin that way. So.
We've been talking about that.
Yeah,
Just
waiting for
setting
it.
setting up a system. Forgot the mic was here.
It would be a,
I
it
hit
would be
my
a lot of
headphones
fun.
earlier. Did it again. Okay. I just had a question, but I already blanked my mind. Okay, yeah. So, what are your all's plans post AmeriCorps? It only lasts a year, or you could do 3 years like I did, and I don't recommend that. What is your
I
plan?
highly
so
recommend
correct.
it.
I mean,
Then don't you get like $15,000 in a school award though if that's 3 years?
well, I went to a private school that didn't accept federal financial aid, so that didn't matter to me. I couldn't get it.
Oh. What if,
Ooh.
I went to Alice Lloyd,
I
so
had
I
to
don't
take the
have
cash
student
stipend.
debt.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was bad.
So, did you okay? But if you have, I'm applying it to all of my. I also went to private school, but I'm applying it to
I
my
mean, some
debt.
private schools will take it.
No, this is going to my debt.
I can't do that either,
Oh my gosh.
which is too late now. But
Yeah.
Seriously?
if I could,
You would think that you'd be able to apply it to them, but
Wait, are you telling me I can't apply?
I would investigate that.
I mean, post podcast.
Does your school accept federal financial aid?
Well, they're all federal grants.
Then you should be okay.
I should be fine.
My school did not accept any federal financial aid.
Dang.
So
I went to Alice Lloyd, so I didn't have any student debt. So
yeah, I wish I would have done that.
I went to UK on scholarship.
Mr.
Yeah.
Smart Man, Robinson Scholar over here.
Yeah,
Wish,
they'd tell me that anyway. But
They didn't give me any scholarships.
yeah, I only went to UK because they paid me to. So
Yeah, no, that rules. I wish I would have had an opportunity. I wish I would have known, like, in high school, I only had one person who told me, do not take out loans. One person out of maybe like the 50 people who were all like my mentors and like loved ones. I probably had one person. It was my manager at Old Navy. And she was like, do not take out loans until you do, only take them out for grad school,
Yeah.
if you're, whatever. That was what she told me. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I got a lot of awesome opportunities from going to the school that I went to, and it's going to be all right.
you know,
that is
that's funny because at UK they have a loan office there, of course, and I had a full ride scholarship, but they're like, yeah, you need to take out a $1,000 loan, and I'm like, why? And they're like, just cause.
What?
make sure you
Yeah.
have some spending cash. And
Yeah, exactly.
lasting debt.
That's
then-
bonkers.
Yeah, and then
How
I'd
dare
have
they?
Yeah, I know. I got that deleted almost immediately. It was just like, no, thank you, don't need it.
So to answer your question, Corey, I honestly don't know. And it's also really hard to think about the future.
It's
right
kind of
now.
early right now.
Yeah. Well, it's also just the pandemic.
But it also is going to sneak up on you really fast, I would say, too.
Yeah, but I have a very hard time planning for the future right now. Whenever it's like,
Yeah.
what is it going to look like? Like, gosh, I adopted a cat. Like, that's so not like me. But apparently, it seems like we're going to be kind of like staying put for a while. So I was like, it's okay. It's okay. I've adopted a cat.
Yeah,
it's
you
okay.
can have a cat for the apocalypse. And
Yeah,
be great.
exactly. But I honestly, I really want to go to grad school for like international intercultural education. So that's something that I would love to do, and like particularly education through the arts. But we'll see what happens if we survive this pandemic.
So what do you want to do with that?
I would really love to design and organize programs, like intercultural programs.
Oh.
I think intercultural learning, like where you take students from one place, well, students from all over, from all over different places. Like there's just such incredible learning that happens where we, go outside of our comfort zones and outside of what we know, right? And we think is right and real and normal. And then we all of a sudden are confronted with all these different ideas of how the world works and realities and experiences. And like for me, that was how I learned in the most incredible ways. Like, obviously, like having to move all the time, and then living and studying abroad and stuff. And so and then also now getting, to lead high school students on those same experiences. It's just, I just think it's incredible. It's completely life-changing and transformative in some of the most awesome ways. So I would love to be someone who helps, like collaborates with others to design those programs and to just like, lead students around the world to experience incredible things.
You said you had a hard time planning for the future.
Okay.
I've never had that much detail.
Listen, that is a big plan. I don't know how to get there. I don't know the steps.
You're a dreamer.
Oh,
instead of
I
planner.
am a dreamer. I'm a dreamer.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's
Yeah.
my plan, to dream. What about you, Grace? What's your
What about you,
plan?
Grace?
That's an excellent question. If anyone would like to answer it for me, that would be great. I honestly don't know. I went into college not knowing what I wanted to do. Thought I'd figure it out in those 4 years. Then I graduated and still don't know what I want to do. And so I'm definitely excited to be in this program. I don't know if I will do it for a second year. It kind of depends, like Kelsey said, what the world looks like and what my life in particular looks like come next summer. My overarching goal would be to stay in this region because I think this region needs people who are willing to stay and work, kind of like the settlement school does with celebrating culture, changing lives, all that good stuff, or celebrating heritage, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever the
Almost
slogan
forgot
is.
our time. Yeah, almost forgot it.
I didn't catch that. You said the wrong word.
Yeah. And this region's always been home. Like, I enjoy traveling. Like, not as much as Kelsey. I've been to Guatemala twice for like a week at a time. Would have been 3 times, but, COVID happened. So probably staying here locally. But as far as what I do, I honestly just want to serve God and serve people, and I can do that with any job. So just kind of see where I end up after this. But
Yeah, I would like to actually be here, to be home at a time when I can actually, build community and make more. I've been very lucky and fortunate to have met some awesome people in training here for this program. And shout out to the Richies. Love you all. But I would love to be able to be here when things, where I can go around and meet people and partake in all of the awesome festivals that happen all over Eastern Kentucky all the time. It would be great.
I could smell deep fried food in the air
I
early
know.
September when we should have been having the gingerbread festival. But
No, we were
Yeah.
telling her about there's the Honey Festival, Chicken Festival,
Black
Sorghum
Gold
Festival, Black Gold Festival,
Festival.
Gingerbread Festival,
And I was like, man,
Apple Festival somewhere, I think.
So I would like, I really would like to stay. I came back to settle for a little bit, which is unusual for me. And I would love to be able to experience, Eastern Kentucky and living in the mountains and the hills here whenever we can actually live.
for reals, I can't wait
I know.
to get back to that point. Which I must say, my life really hasn't changed that much because I'm too poor to do anything in the first place half the time. So
Same, brother.
just like stay home and watch a movie or something.
My favorite hobby is paying bills.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's about
It's
all.
not. It's terrible.
All right, so now we are going to go into some lightning round questions to get a little bit more knowledge about you. So the first question is skim milk, 2%, or whole milk?
I don't
Ew.
drink milk.
Yeah, milk from cows. Ugh. I drink
This is
almond
not
milk.
how I expected this to go at all.
If I were to drink milk, I would probably drink whole milk. Because that's what my mom drinks, and my boyfriend grew up on a dairy farm, and he's a milk purist, and so that's.
Does he drink raw milk?
I
Because
don't.
that's an even another layer.
I think it's just whole milk. I just don't really like milk that much.
Does he
unless it's-
pasteurize it
I don't-
before he
I
drinks
don't
it?
think he does much with it. He just buys whole milk.
Oh.
Now they don't have an active dairy farm,
Yeah,
but I just don't really drink milk. I like it in cereal, but if I'm thirsty, I don't usually want like a thick, creamy liquid.
I definitely want a thick, creamy liquid.
I mean, I would drink
Oat
milk
milk
with
is good
almost
for
every
that.
meal.
Yeah, for sure.
What'd you say?
Oat milk is good for the creaminess.
Oh, yeah. Oat milk, almond milk, but I am
Almond
definitely...
milk is a little too.
I don't like milk alternatives either.
No, that's bad. I can handle some coconut milk.
Ugh.
Yeah, coconut. I was pescatarian for a while, so
Mhm.
I didn't do
Yeah.
any of the milk and all that. But
I'm like mildly lactose intolerant, but mainly just for milk. Like
Oh.
in growing up, I had to stop drinking milk. Luckily, I can still eat cheese and ice cream. Thank goodness.
I love cheese.
But then in Philly, I was living. A lot of my best friends are vegans, and so bat a fly and then hit the microphone. So I was living in like vegan houses and stuff, and so I was, already drinking like almond milk and soy milk and stuff. So it was just more of my life.
I definitely am a whole milk fan because if I'm buying milk, I ain't getting skipped out on the milk. I want all the milk there.
Yeah, don't they just add water?
I mean,
Yeah.
To lower
well, they're
it?
taking like the cream out, the thickness of it. So yeah, it basically is just water that's left over that looks it's
Ugh.
white. White water is all skim milk is.
Yeah, it's like if you wanna give me 2% of the milk, make it 2% of the price.
Also that very for
I mean,
sure.
What
for
are you
sure.
doing?
All right,
Sure.
so it's November now. What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Oh, stuffing for sure.
Yeah, stuffing's good. Deviled eggs are good. Turkey's good. Mashed potatoes good. The food that you eat
Oh.
at Thanksgiving.
All of
is
it.
nice.
Everything, all the things. I definitely like some stuffing.
Yes.
Also, a nice, I don't know what you call it, sweet potato casserole.
Oh yeah, that's good. Now this is controversial because this goes either way. There's only 2 people in my family that like it, but cranberry sauce.
I love cranberry sauce.
Cranberry anything is great.
Yes, delicious.
My mom makes amazing like the cranberry sauce. She'll put little oranges in it. She'll
I like the cranberry salad stuff. That's got like the chunks and all that good
I don't
stuff
think
in it.
I've had that.
walnuts, cranberries.
Yeah.
We just got it out of a can because we ain't fancy.
I mean, we had that too, and then Mom realized she could make it really easily at buying fresh cranberries.
I just wish I had that.
She's like, it is so easy, and it is easy. I've seen her do it. I've not personally done it, but it's easy peasy, Jordan.
Pass me that recipe.
For sure.
Lit.
Okay.
This is
I
like
feel like,
Corey.
judging by your milk question, I'm going to be shocked and disappointed by this answer. How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
A million.
Oh, okay.
If caffeine didn't make me feel like I was going to explode, I would drink way more. Generally, I try to do 1 or 2.
Ah.
That's why I drink more coffee, is because I like the exploding feeling.
Oh, yeah. I like but I'm also a coffee lover in that I don't drink it for the caffeine. I drink it for the taste. So, like, if there's decaf, I would drink, like, a whole pot of decaf.
I drink it for the taste, but also out of necessity, because if I don't drink it, I have massive headaches.
Yep.
See, I usually will have at least 1 cup of regular in the morning. For a while, last week I was just drinking half calf every morning, so I was trying to cut back on caffeine, but I wanted, like, the warm deliciousness of coffee. So, coffee all the time. Caffeine is optional.
Also, plant-based creamers are awesome, and they're
Never
so
tried it.
good. So good.
Well, if I've ever had one.
Drink
plant-
mine black.
There's one that I really like. What is crappy is that it is like $5 at the Walmart, but it's a Nut Pods. Nut Pods creamer is so good.
How do they do that? Like, how do you?
It's I think it's a coconut. It's coconut almond mix. It's like, I think it's coconut and almond together.
Okay.
It's really good because the coconut gives it that thicker, creamier, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
I just drink my coffee however it comes, as long as it's strong. Like, I'll drink it black with sugar, with cream, whatever.
Grace makes super strong coffee. I can't drink it.
I used to be on that strong coffee trend.
I don't
was
think mine's
I.
that strong. 'Cause, I mean, some
No,
people
yours
are,
was what you just made was delicious.
was.
okay.
It
Well,
was
that's because
fantastic.
people in the office are like, "It's so strong." I think they've all got used to it now, but
Yeah.
early on they would say it was
I'm trying
strong.
to make mine weaker, but where my main job at the office was to make like 12 cup of like strong coffee, I haven't quite adjusted to making a smaller pot of coffee, so I put too much in it. But no regrets.
Yeah,
No regrets.
I used to be on that strong coffee train, but then we got pumpkin spice creamer, so now I'm on a pumpkin spice creamer.
I don't do pumpkin
I
spice.
don't either.
Delicious.
Okay.
Missing out.
We got to keep moving on.
Alright,
We got
what's next? What's
they got after
We got
school
after school
coming up
week.
here in 20
Oh.
minutes, so we
Oh,
got to
yeah.
get moving here.
Golly, let's get
All right.
rolling then.
Next question is: would you rather be able to speak every language in the world, or be able to talk to animals?
Speak every
Oh.
language, easy.
Really?
I don't think
What?
animals are
That
going to be
is
that conversational.
Great.
People are.
Animals are going to tell us everything.
I feel like the squirrel would just be like, wow, it's a tree. I'm going to jump into it.
Oh my God, we are so different. Oh my, that is the hardest question for me. I don't
No,
know.
the next question is going to be harder.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I would love to talk to animals. I used to walk around my house in Indiana and imagine I was in like first grade. Just this isn't like last week, but I would walk around and like, hey, Mr. Worm, hey, Mr. Owl, hey, like I
Okay,
would.
but hear me out. You can talk to animals now. They just can't talk back.
Oh, that's the thing. Can animals talk?
Of course.
Well, yeah.
Of
Is
course.
this like wild
It's like,
thornberries?
what is it,
Like
Dr.
Liza?
Doolittle? Is that
Yeah.
the movie?
Yeah.
Liza, listen. Listen, Grace, Liza and Wild Thornberry, she uncovered so many
find
mysteries.
people more interesting, I guess.
Because we don't know. You can't talk
It,
to an
it,
animal
would-
right
it would
now.
open up a whole new
It would
horizon.
A whole new world.
We
I
just
guess.
tore the pole house
but
apart
what-
right here.
But what if the animals don't speak English?
No.
And then if
in
you don't
this
speak every
scenario-
language-
In this
this
scenario, you would be able
they-
to converse with the animals.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to justify my.
Yeah.
I stand
Oh,
by it.
I don't know. I honestly, you know what? With the way things are going right now, and not really
Wow.
tending to like most people, so I'm gonna go with talking to animals. Yes, talking with animals.
They could be funner.
Decided. Can you imagine going on a hike and meeting animal friends, and then
Yeah, but what if they're planning some real shady stuff?
I
though,
would
you
get
know?
in on it.
When that snake came in, you could have just talked to it and been like, "Hey, bro,
Exactly.
get out of here."
And then it would be like, I'm gonna bite you when you sleep.
No, I would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this was,
But what if
Your
animals are
bathroom.
actually jerks?
Yeah, that's a
Then you
whole-
just have to hear mean comments from animals.
Yeah,
all
like
day.
what if my cat is a total jerk?
It definitely
It probably is. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's their goal. They want to get fed at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
In the beginning, in the middle.
yeah,
he will not. He's such a picky eater. He won't eat any treats that I get. What is that about? How do cats not eat treats?
what kind of treats do you have?
I've seriously gone through the whole I did the greenies, I did the Temptations, I did the
Maybe it just wants some real meat.
I
Real
gave it
stuff.
some smoked salmon and he loved it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he doesn't go for that cheap stuff, the
I
fake stuff.
know.
Yeah, he's an
He
uppity
wants
cat.
he wants organic.
He's gonna be a raw cat, I guess.
Yeah.
You should-
All right.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Jordan, you can ask this last question. This is the
Okay.
question that he asked all the new tutors that he's interviewing.
Yeah,
You all
so-
got out of this, but now you have to answer.
Yeah,
it.
we're coming back around for it. So, if you could be any type of animal, which type of animal would you be and why?
Mm-hmm.
Armadillo. It's like a turtle, but faster.
Great answer.
You are an armadillo.
Thank you.
Oh,
I try to be fast and
I really love
defensive.
that.
That was a quick answer too. It's
That
like you've
was
been.
very good.
He asked me this like 2 weeks ago, and I still don't have a good answer for it. So
I
Most
don't know
people
anything
don't.
else about armadillo, so it could be a terrible choice, but it
I mean,
felt,
that,
it
don't
felt
they like
good
roll
enough
up?
right
Is
there.
that the one that like
yeah,
rolls
they
into
roll
a ball?
up.
That's cool,
They get hit a lot in Texas.
but they're probably
I'll
defended.
avoid Texas.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go there this year, and then COVID happened, so I guess it's a sign.
I think it is a sign. Your armadillo needs to stay out of Texas.
Solid.
My answer to this question kind of changes a lot. I really love bears. So, like, I have a thing for bears. But I would really love to be able to fly. So, maybe.
Flying bear.
Yes. Flying bear,
You know-
okay, is what I would like to be, a flying bear.
I've had weirder answers. This one lady wanted to be a dragon. So
That rules.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
Kind
Great
of like a
fire.
I
flying
would love
bear.
to be a unicorn.
What I've
Like,
noticed is that no one has the same answer, which is really interesting because you would assume
the first
it
thought
works.
comes to my head as a squirrel, but I also have a problem where it's like that's just too basic. I want to think of something outside the box.
Ah, Corey,
What about
if
a
you
flying squirrel?
Those are fun.
Those are super cool.
or like a chinchilla, you can be rich and soft and be made into coats.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if you
I don't know
want
if I want that.
to. Bush babies are really cool. When I was younger, I loved bush babies.
I don't even know what
Big
that
ol'
is.
Big old eyes.
Yeah.
Y'all, okay, can I tell you this story really quick?
Have at her.
Okay, well, it's not a long story. It's really quick. But I was leading a group of students. We were in South Africa, and we got to stay at freaking like Kruger National Park, which is
Oh,
this
yeah.
incredible, where you do the whole safari thing.
Yeah.
My students were roasting marshmallows one night, and a hyena came up to the fence next to them, like that sort of stuff. But I was trying to go to sleep, and there's all this noise happening, and I looked up, and in my sort of like the house I was staying in, there was a critter just crawling around right above like my roof, like the roof, and then I don't know, like where the insulation should be. I don't freaking know what it was, but it was just crawling around, and I realized it was a bush baby. Little bush baby with the big old eyes and the fluffy little tail was right there.
So I'm
with me.
imagining like the little critter from Madagascar.
I think
Yeah. Mort.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
lemur,
Yeah.
the annoying
is that
lemur.
a lemur? No,
Yeah.
no, they're not lemurs.
Mort
No,
wasn't
it's-
a lemur, though.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's a
Mort
bush
was
baby.
just,
Oh, is that what he is?
That is what he is. Then,
Oh,
yeah.
I was wondering why he looked
the
different.
big eyes.
Yeah,
right?
he is
Yeah.
cute, but he's annoying.
Yeah.
Loyal to King Julian.
Yeah.
I love that we make a cartoon reference at least every other
I mean, that's the
episode.
only movies I watch. I have 3 kids, so
Yeah.
Aw.
I'm also trying to regain my childhood, so.
I mean, I think they're better than other movies. So
Completely
They are.
agree. They
wholesome,
are.
usually
More
have
colors, music.
good
Colors,
stories, good
art.
morals. Usually,
The animals talk.
Yeah.
the animals talk.
Yeah,
it's just
you
like
don't
our
need
dream.
an animal talk superpower. You can watch animated movies.
Yeah,
and then
but
the
I watched
It's not
Zootopia last
real.
night, which is just animals in human situations.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that movie is
I love
so wow. When I watched it, I was like, "Holy cow! Like this is so many metaphors to our
Yeah.
society in this.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I
It's
just
a
like
good
it.
one.
they made each biome for each like animal. I watched the background to it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
watch it at least once a month, at least.
It's good. Okay, well, this has been great. You
Oh,
all need to
nice.
get on the road.
Yeah.
You got after school tutoring tonight.
Whoop, whoop.
So we appreciate you all coming on today. We actually had to make a little bit of an adjustment. We were planning on doing this yesterday. So I appreciate your flexibility there.
I feel like that's a
think
stab at me.
Yesterday when we was texting and I was acting like I was angry, sending you gifts.
Yeah, I thought you were very angry.
That was me just trying to pester you.
Yeah. I took a day off for my birthday, everybody.
Because I had to spend my day orchestrating this and trying to figure out what we were going to do because I had forgotten that we were not doing it yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Well, y'all did it. Here we
We
are.
pulled it
Thank you for
through.
having us. This was fun.
Thanks for
Absolutely.
being here.
And this
And
is
thanks
probably
for
our
free
longest
coffee.
episode. This is our longest episode yet, and I like that. I could go for 3 hours, and I don't care if you listen to it or not. It's just fun.
It
Yeah.
is fun.
I just like talking.
I like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Fun
Maybe
times.
you'll actually watch our podcast now.
I will watch your podcast.
We have it on YouTube, so
So you
don't.
can't-
Oh,
actually-
you
literally
can't
watch
actually
it.
watch it. I thought
Yeah.
I was
Did
like,
you
Did you not notice
I
this
thought I
camera?
was like getting a little jab in at you,
Thought you
but I
got me.
wasn't.
Nope.
Oh,
Thought
It's
you got
impossible.
I will definitely listen to it.
Good.
We
I-
need all the
Listen,
listeners.
I love a podcast.
Good.
Trillbillies podcast is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the Trillbillies.
Yes.
Shout out.
But
Shout
don't watch
out.
them. Watch us.
Yeah, but we're kind of in competition with you now, so
Y'all,
No.
come on.
We're,
You can't.
we're all in the
we
same
should,
spirit.
maybe Trillbillies and the HindmanCast, the Troublesome Boys, could have a uniting one day.
Oh my
Yes.
God! Please, can I come for that?
Well, sure.
You know, if it happens, yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
that would make me so happy.
For sure.
All right. Well, thank you all again, and have fun at after school.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as you may notice, the scenery here has changed a little bit.
Yeah, a completely different attire. That's because the podcast took so long. We had to change clothes.
Yeah. It was like we just had to get a refresher during the podcast and change clothes. Actually, we just ran out of time yesterday because Jordan and Kelsey and Driscoll
Driscoll.
and Grace. I don't know. I just looked down and read Driscoll there. And that's what I said. And Grace had to get to after school, and we didn't have time to finish up the podcast
No,
on that day.
Got to help them kids.
Yeah,
so that's
yep. So here we are on Friday, and
yeah. I mean, you should be
Gotta-
glad we changed your clothes. To be honest.
yeah, got to
But-
get this done before Jordan leaves for the weekend. So yeah, it's
Big weekend. Alright.
it's the beauty of podcasting is you can just do it when you can. And just,
Asynchronous.
yeah,
Big word of the week over there.
yeah. I don't know what it means, but I keep hearing it. But yeah. So we are trucking along here, and we talked a lot about in the podcast with Grace and Kelsey. It was a great conversation, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, very much so.
And we talked a lot about how awesome the Hindman Settlement School is, and what a joy it is to be here. And we got some ways this week that for you to support us and get involved at the Hindman Settlement School. And the first thing is holiday gift boxes, which are now available on our store at hindman.org/shop. We have a variety of different gift boxes available. Once I get it pulled up here, I can tell you more about them. We got the Fireside Industries cheese board, which can give you a literal piece of Hindman, as we have a cheese board in there that is made of the old cabin, the Fireside Industries cabin that was once our office here on campus. That will be in there, along with some garlic pepper cheddar cheese from Wildcat Mountain Cheese, Tadpole hollow bread and butter pickles, which are made from the cucumbers that we grew here on our farm. Also sourdough crackers in there that was made by me, and some tomato basil jam and mixed pickles from Good for Your Heart Farms. Our dear friend Rebecca Fugit makes that. And we got some other boxes, Miss Stone's soup and sandwich. I am just struggling with words today. Verna Mae's Shucky Bean Supper, Mountain Mornings, Uncle Saul's Breakfast, and the all-inclusive big box Taste of Troublesome, which has a little bit of everything in there. All at varying different prices. They will make a good gift for your loved ones, your coworkers, anything you want to gift this holiday season. Look at the Hindman Settlement School shop and pick up one of these holiday boxes. We also have Frogtown Fruitcake, which is a new thing for us. Our good friend and advocate Lois Matus came up with this recipe for fruitcake. And we are selling it this year, and it is. I don't
It's
like.
delicious.
I don't like fruitcake, but this thing is delicious. I really do like it. It's pretty great. So look at that as well. Pick up a Frogtown fruitcake and make it the special treat of your holiday dinners this year. And we also have, as always, a good way to get involved at the Hindman Settlement School through the ReadingCorps program, Jordan.
Yeah, so as I mentioned last week, I believe, we still have recruitment open for the Hindman Settlement School. This is our second wave of recruitment. We are hiring in Leslie, Knott, and Perry County elementary schools, and you can find out more on our website at hindman.org/service, or you can get in contact with me at jordan@hindman.org.
Yep. And when will that close?
We plan on to begin training in mid-November. We're still looking to fill a couple slots, so
that's coming right around the corner as well. All right, and as always, we want to give a recognition to our donors and supporters. This week, we want to recognize Serve Kentucky, who has committed $619,000 annually to us for 3 years to support our dyslexia program. That's awesome. Thank you, Serve Kentucky. And as always, we want to thank the Daughters of the American Revolution for their continued and faithful support. We couldn't do this without the DAR for sure. Jordan, you got to go for the first time. Did you go? Did you not end up not going? To Georgia. You went to Georgia.
Yeah, definitely went to Georgia. Yeah.
How'd that go?
Oh, it was a great time. The ladies were very courteous, and they supported us in various ways. It was a great time. It was honestly nice to get out of the house for the most part, but love Georgia. Very, very good time there. So
all of our DAR events have been canceled this year, so they finally got to go down to Georgia and hang out with the Georgia ladies. So
yeah, they graciously invited us, and it was a great time.
Yeah. I've never been to a DAR meeting. I need to go sometime for the experience.
Hey, we could get troublesome on the road, Corey.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. DAR ladies out there. I've had the vision for a live HindmanCast at one of these conferences or something going on.
And as you can tell, when Corey has a vision, he makes it happen. That's why we got HindmanCast.
Yep,
so.
I try to follow through. All right, so that is the end of our episode this week. We thank you all so much for listening, and get out there and spread the word. Get on Facebook, like our page, share our post. It gets the word out there, spreads the message. Subscribe to our podcast on Apple iTunes. I always want to call it Apple iTunes, Apple Podcast, and Stitcher. No, it's not on Stitcher. It's on Spotify. Man, I'm struggling today. And also on our YouTube channel, subscribe there as well. Watch the videos and get a more personal feel of the Troublesome Boys and our guest here at the Hindman Settlement School. Anything else, Jordan?
Not that I got to add.
All right, and our next episode, I think, is with Mr. Bob Young.
Looking forward to that.
Who I call the Hindman Settlement School resident historian. So that'll be an interesting conversation. Looking forward to that.
He is also the unofficial mayor of Frogtown.
The unofficial mayor of Frogtown. That is true. That is true. All right, we will catch you next time. My name's Corey Terry.
And I'm Jordan Collins.
See you later.
The HindmanCast is brought to you by the faithful and generous supporters of the Hindman Settlement School. For over 100 years, we've been celebrating heritage and changing lives in Central Appalachia. If you're interested in supporting the work of Hindman Settlement School, you can go to our website at www.hindman.org, or you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the handle @HindmanSchool.